Hi again, everybody. Well, this is kind of like replacing my Sabbath report. Unintentionally, it is the last day of the year. I mean, well, I say unintentionally. I didn't mean to make this where it ended up being the last day of the year. It just happened to be between the camera was full to the point where I don't know how much of what I was trying to record during the week actually got recorded versus how much didn't get recorded. But still, this is kind of like a Sabbath report, only just the day after the Sabbath. Now, what I'm trying to show there is I've got my don't really want to take that off of there, but I've got a bushing under here that's made of plastic, and on that spacer, which is its own self a bushing, and underneath there's a 4-inch bushing or thereabouts. That's 3 3/4 inches, and on the back I've got a bushing and a locking nut on that drive post. That's all designed to hold that part in place. It's not done yet. I have to drill grub screws. I'm going to put 4 grub screws in this collar to clamp down on the pulley, which then will be down in there tight, so that I can go in there with a tool and cut the face of the inside of that bolt bushing to its proper dimension. A blade broke on me last week. And well, it just kind of, well, part of, won't say that was progress, but it's just something that happened. Brand new blade broke on me, and like an hour's worth of actual use. So, I mean, all that it cut was, it cut that metal right there, and it cut 4 pieces of, almost 4 pieces of angle iron. That's all I got out of it. So, really rotten, inferior, horrible, lack of quality. I wouldn't advise anybody to buy Grizzly brand. It's just pure garbage. I just happened to have the truck down here because I was carrying some glass bottles down here, and bringing some tools and stuff back to the house, because I am going to cut a hay bale open, and when I do this, which I tend to do it every time I get a round bale, because I know where my saws are at, and I do that because it's such a booger to pick the hay out of a round bale. It just really doesn't like to give up its goodies very quickly. And so the trick is that I go in and I take the saw and I literally cut across the bale of hay, and that's how I make it easy to get the hay off of it, because otherwise it's just really a pain in the butt, difficult. Hang on, let me get out of the truck here to do this, because I got my hands full. I don't want to pause this to do all this if I can avoid it, because I'd kind of like to get it all in one shot. The report and the little trick of cutting the hay at the same time. And I've got to get the cord out of the seat there. Alright. Now I brought the little saw in case I don't know where the cord for the big saw is. And I've got an extension cord, of course. And no, I didn't move anything down out of this pile because I haven't made room for it down at the shop, or else I'd have been showing that off. Oops, I'm going to drop that if I'm not careful. So, I am going to be back momentarily, either with or without my Sawzall. So if you can hang on a moment, you'll be serenaded by the babies, who are my built-in burglar alarms. Yeah, the babies. I'm a-coming. Yeah. I'm a-coming. Okay. Well, thankfully, the cord is here. So, one annoying thing, but kind of an advantage at the same time, is that these Milwaukee cords, as long as they don't quit working on you, because of the fact that they will over time, and they don't make replacements for them. And they never will, ever again. They're like, nope, not gonna do it. Although they'll say, oh well, if we had enough orders. To them, enough orders would be like 50 million of them. Which means, nope, they're never gonna do it. Because they didn't sell 50 million of these in the first place, I don't figure. Sorry about that, I know that's disgusting, but my nose runs all the time and there's really nothing I can do about it. Except face away from the camera when I do that. Alright, so what I'm doing should be pretty obvious, but I'll explain it anyhow, is I'm going to cut my hay bale. And I always do this with round bales, because once you pull them so far, you just can't pull them no more unless you spend hours and hours and hours pulling on them just to get a little bit of hay. I mean, it's really bad, especially on a cold day when your hands are freezing and you don't even want to be outside on the cold day. So you've got this cold job of pulling hay off of a bale that doesn't want to come off. And your hands are cold, and if you've got gloves, they don't want to let go. They don't want to grab the hay worth anything. So what you do is you cut through. And now there's a more enjoyable but more dangerous way of doing this, and that is with a chainsaw. I have done it with a chainsaw. It's very dangerous because A, well, it's a chainsaw, but B, it can catch your hay on fire. In fact, I have gotten pretty close to catching my hay on fire because of the fact that it can, what happens is it's not so much the exhaust or sparks, although if you've got no lube on your chain, that does give you a chance of catching it on fire too. But even if you have lube on your chain, what can happen is, and will tend to happen, is that a chainsaw will suck the hay up into the clutch. And once it's in the clutch, it jams it up. And as it jams it tighter and tighter, it gets hot. Now, I've had it start smoking on me a couple times. And so I had to stop and cool off the saw. You know, fortunately though, a lot of times, usually, if you are using a chainsaw, if you know what you're doing, you can get cut through a bale like this, lickety split, and you won't get too much. You won't have to come back a second pass. part way cut through the bale. Not all the way, but part way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that back, and I'm going to cut down here and cut further along. And the idea is you want to be able to get as much off the top as you can. You can't really get all the way to the top unless you stand on top of it. And it does take a while for it to start cutting sometimes because of, especially when you got a small tooth blade like this rather than a pruning blade, which I'd normally use, but they've all broken on me. Now, you do have to be careful with these about making too much frictional heat because they can catch it on fire too. Now, I'm going to leave this saw here because I will have to cut this again. Boy, I sure hope that ain't smoke I'm seeing. It should just be mold. Or if you ever catch one of these things on fire in here, you'd be hard pressed to put it out. You have to go get a hose and literally soak your bale of hay, and then you pretty much ruin your hay. So you kind of... But again, you want, if at all possible, to cut it up high. This is a mixed grass that's kind of light and fluffy, which is not optimal for this. Basically, what you're doing, in effect, you're not really cutting the hay as much as you're using the power tool to pull the hay loose, so that you can go ahead and yank it out in this manner. Now I'm going to go ahead and skip doing the rest of that until after I'm done doing my report for the year. Now again, of the things that I've done, obviously I've worked on that truck. You know, I might as well recap the year. Changed the alternator in it, changed the shifter cable in it. I've got some clips on order to put the floor back in kind of part way, but I'll have to rebuild the floor. You know, plenty of babies born this year. Got some fences in. Got a whole barn in. I say a whole barn. Half of a whole barn. I don't know. A third of a barn. Anyhow, I mean, other than this sheet metal right here, all this sheet metal is on new structure, so that pretty much, as far as, again, just kind of making an annual year summary, got some good grapes off my grapevine. That's part of my year's accomplishments. Got that whole new 1-ton truck, new to me anyway. That was an accomplishment. Got loads and loads of really nice, high quality, antique food processing stuff. Now, one problem with playing video in here as recording is I've got to plug the microphone up so I don't have the, well, it's not that loud. But anyhow, so yeah, we got this real neat pasta maker and this old Oster blender, mixer, meat grinder, dough hook tool. It was really awesome. Even came with a ravioli maker. Basically, some of my growth experiments up here have failed dismally. With ginger, seems to have decided to not grow. Whatever that plant is didn't grow. Lemongrass didn't grow. So those were failures. Got all these plants sprouted this year. And I threw all these onion seedlings in here. So a few things got done this year. These almost died from not getting enough water, and so, but they're recovering hopefully well enough. So yeah, that's, and we've got tons and tons of new aloe vera plants, so that was really cool. So a few things that we got done. I don't know. Oh yeah, we also got this other Oster dough hook mixture recently. So we got a really nifty load of cooking tools. Mom's amaryllis still has 3 leaves on it. It didn't have any last time this year. My non-variegated spider plant's been making babies over here in the corner. And my surviving mother-in-law's tongues that almost lost all of last fall, this year are recovering. My experiment with a sweet potato thing has failed. I'm going to get past Mom here. Go back outside so we're not in conflict with any recording laws. So yeah, again, I got these babies over here, these 4 boys, and they're growing like weeds. So that was kind of an achievement of its own self. Especially Hans here, he's a booger. He's a real booger. Yeah, Hans and Hansel. And then Franz over there. Hans and Franz are brothers. And their mama's Alpine. And then there's Junior back there, whose mama is a Boer mix. And then Hansel is a Boer Alpine La Mancha mix. I guess Junior's got a little bit of La Mancha in him, but that's Junior's mama staring at us through the gap in the fence over there. We've got Mr. O'Malley in there with the mamas, but I'm going to be bringing him over here with Sam and Ginger again here in a little while, because they're neither one pregnant, unfortunately. And Ginger, although she'll look up and sniff at the camera because she thinks it's something to eat and she's hungry, she's still very antisocial, still doesn't like humans one little bit. I guess my hands smell like hay or grain or something because she's licking my hand, or salt, I don't know. Anyhow, so yeah, I mean, things have gotten done. No real changes to talk about in here. I did trap a bunch of wild animals and drag them off to the national park. Reposition them somewhere other than here. All these babies are Well, again, I got her by barter, but I can't remember if I got her this year or last year now. I think it was this year. That's Candy. She's my first ever registered animal, period. And then all these are, well, those two are about a year old, and these two are less than a year old. Because that's Gretel, that's Hansel's sister. That's Snippy Snap, that's Ginger's baby. Candy come from, again, a whole different herd. Fluffy Puffy is the last of Coco's babies before Coco died. And Jill is Gretel and Hansel's older sister. Come from the same mama. And so there's Mocha, Mr. O'Malley, Caroline, who's Jill and Hansel and Gretel's mama, Chestnut, who has no surviving babies at this point, and Sugar, who's Junior's mama. Unfortunately, Junior was a set of triplets, and it was of a set of triplets, and unfortunately, one got smothered and one got trampled. So there were 3 beautiful, young, perfectly white bucks, and 2 of them died from forced cause of, like I say, one got trampled and one got smothered. And unfortunately, I've had to fill up my little graveyard here of a lot of babies, including Sooty, Sooty's little brother. Both of them were malformed, different generation, different kids of Chestnut that didn't make it, and Coco's in there, and another couple of them are in there, several actually. Now it didn't come to anything, but there was a strange flower over here. It was I think it was called Charmaine or something, I forget. Anyhow, it's a rare, in fact it shouldn't have even been growing here. Actually, the plant stem is still here. I have no idea if it made seeds. It doesn't seem like it from my push on it. I don't feel like there was any seed pods in it, but it was green even after the frost. So whatever it is, I think it's called mountain bog, whatever, gentian, that's it, because it keeps making me think of gentleman. So it's gentian. There's a mountain, which kind of sounds odd to me, mountain bog, which it sounds odd to me, but there are some flat areas near us that are plateaus where there's actually swampy land at 1,200 foot above sea level. And it just happens to be that it's part of, oddly enough, we are in the part of the bottom end of the Springfield Plateau, which is pretty much the core of the Ozarks. But anyhow, in fact, right there, technically, is the highest point in the county and the highest point for over 150 miles in every direction. So, I mean, I'm like right up against this, in this box canyon, I'm up against the peak of the mountain there. So, it is strange though that the same ridge line and everything is all broken up parts of an area where there's wetlands that are 1,200 feet above sea level. Now, that's not where that came from. Apparently, that plant is native to the Colorado Rockies, which makes it weird to think that there's a bog over there anywhere, but I guess it could be. I mean, mountains can have, lakes and stuff in them. But anyhow, that's pretty much the bulk of everything in overview that's happened this year. Of course, I haven't done anything with the Ford yet. Hopefully I will, but so many other things ahead of it. But alright, well, I will post this whenever I get it posted, and next thing you see will be next year. Except maybe unboxing some stuff I got out of out of shipment from ordering. That will probably might be this afternoon. But anyhow, it'll be a different video.